Hi everyone, welcome back to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. In this video, we're going to continue learning the 1 to 6 player expansion to Viticulture, Tuscany by Stonemaier Games. If you haven't seen them already, we have a full instructional video for Viticulture, along with the first 2 tiers of expansions that come with Tuscany. In this video, we're going to focus on Tier 3. And there is one important change with this tier. When playing with a Tier 3 expansion, you will still use all of the Tier 1 and 2 expansions that you've unlocked, but you only ever include one Tier 3 expansion at a time. So with that in mind, join me at the table and let's learn how to play. The Mafia Tier 3 expansion brings a new capo to Tuscany, and as players, you're trying to gain his favor with one of these welcoming gifts. Shuffle these Mafia cards and remove one randomly, returning it to the box unseen. Then deal one secretly to each player. You may examine your own Mafia card, but they do not count against your hand limit. Place the rest of the Mafia cards in a face-down stack near the game board. This card represents the gift that you're planning on giving to the capo at the end of the game. And for gameplay purposes, it's considered that your grande worker is the one carrying the gift. So for that reason, when using this expansion, you must place your grande worker before the end of the year, and you are not allowed to place it on any of the private spaces. Your grande worker must be put on the main game board. Anytime you place your grande worker on an action area that does not have an opponent's grande worker, you may choose to discard your Mafia card face down and then draw a new one from the deck. The Mafia discard pile never gets reshuffled, so when there are no more Mafia cards left to draw, you may not discard the one you have. When a grande worker is placed in an action area where there is at least one other grande worker, you must choose and switch Mafia cards with one of the other players who has a grande worker there. At the end of the game, all of the players reveal their gift to the capo, and the player playing the highest valued gift receives 2 victory points, and the player with the lowest value gift loses a victory point. All of the gifts are unique, so there are no ties. Well, except for this tie, but that's different. Arboriculture is a Tier 3 expansion that's going to give your workers some additional jobs to do. They're not too keen on this extra work, so you're going to have to find some other ways to keep them happy. To start, place this mat extension to the right of your vineyard, and then put the morale heart token here. Now shuffle and place the arbor cards face down near the game board. Anytime you would be able to draw a vine card, you may now draw an arbor card instead, even if that vine came from your mama. Likewise, anytime you would plant a vine, you may now plant an arbor in a field that doesn't already have an arbor card. This does not prevent vines from also being planted here and does not count against the vine maximum of that field. For this reason, sometimes when I'm playing, instead I'll place my arbors just underneath of the vines to keep them separate. Arbors do count as vines for the purposes of planting bonuses that you might get from patronage cards, visitors, and so on. All of the structures shown on your arboriculture mat are considered pre-built and ready for use. Now when harvesting a field, like this one here, you would move the appropriate grapes to your crush pad, as usual, and then if there is an arbor planted there as well, depending on its type, you either place an apple in your warehouse, or if you have a tomato vine, you place the token in your refinery, or if it's an olive tree, you place the token near your millstone. At most, you may have 3 apples in your warehouse, but any number of tomatoes in your refinery and any number of olives near your millstone. The arbor remains in place after harvesting, but if you've built the yoke, you can use that space to uproot and discard an arbor card from your field if you choose. You'll also note on this extension you have some private spaces for placing workers. Let's take a look at those now. Placing a worker on the cask allows you to age 1 wine token in your cellar by 1 if you have the space. Placing a worker on the tomato sauce action allows you to transfer up to 2 tomato tokens from the refinery to the middle of your warehouse. At most, you can have 2 jars of tomato in your warehouse. Excessive tomatoes remain in the refinery. Likewise, you can make olive oil by placing a worker here and then transferring one olive oil token to the far right space of the warehouse, leaving any excess olives on the millstone. All of this extra work is going to really tax your workers, so with this expansion, anytime you place your grande worker, whether on a private space or on the main board, you move your morale token one level down on the slider. If the token ever descends to the -1 victory point level, then you immediately lose 1 point. If you place your grande worker on a space when you're already on the lowest position, then nothing happens. At the end of the year, when you take back your workers, you may discard any number of glass tokens from your crush pad, cellar, or warehouse as a gift to your workers. This will increase morale by 1 level per token. If you ever ascend to the +1 victory point level, then immediately gain 1 victory point. Discarding tokens at year end to gain morale when you're already at the top has no effect and no victory points are gained. Also, you may place any worker, except the grande worker, on this leisure space during the year to move up 1 space on the morale track, gaining or ignoring victory points as per the usual rules for the morale track. When you use the sell 1 wine token action, you may now instead sell 1 tomato sauce token for 1 victory point, or 1 olive oil token for 2 victory points as shown on the bottom of the warehouse. When you fill a wine order, in addition to gaining victory points for any wine you sold, you may also discard up to 1 tomato sauce or olive oil token to again gain their indicated victory point value. The Tier 3 Formaggio expansion allows you to expand into the emerging cheese market. First, each player takes the Formaggio mat, which is actually the other side of the Arboriculture mat, and you place it to the right of your vineyard. Then each player should take a single cow and place it in their pasture. The rest of the unused cows should be placed somewhere nearby, but then one of them placed here beside the trade 1-for-1 action space. This is here simply as a reminder that now cows can be traded for when taking this action. So, for example, you could lose 3 lira in order to gain another cow and place it in your pasture. Players are limited to the number of cows in the supply, and a single player may have no more than 4 cows in their pasture. Now players may place a worker on the make cheese action space of their pasture in any season. For each cow in your pasture, place a token on any open space in the first column of your small cheese cellar. This indicates the type of cheese that it will be. Now, at the end of each year, age cheese tokens just like you age wine tokens. But if a cheese token reaches the green cheese space, it has gone bad and must be discarded. When constructing a building, you now have the option of building a medium cellar, which costs 4 lira. This means you may ignore the green cheese symbol in this column when aging these last 2 cheeses and instead go from this cheese symbol straight to this one, or from here straight to here. To ensure you don't run out of glass tokens, this expansion comes with several more. Anytime in the game when you gain the option of placing an influence star, you may now also place it on one of the 3 cheese experts on your mat to gain the ongoing benefit of that expert, as long as the star is there. Having more than 1 influence on a single expert provides no additional benefit, and you score no points for them at the end of the game. It should be noted that placing a worker on the make cheese space gives you a star influence bonus. This is not printed on the space, but imagine that it is. Once all of your influence stars have been placed on the map or on cheese experts, you may now use the influence action to move influence stars to the map or to different cheese experts. Let's see what these experts do. The cheesemonger allows you to sell 1 cheese token for a victory point by itself or with a wine token on the sell 1 wine token action. This expert lets you choose 1 type of cheese at the end of the year, and instead of aging once, all of its tokens age twice or not at all. It's up to you. Your other cheeses age as normal. And this expert lets you discard a cheese token once a year when you fill a wine order to gain victory points equal to the value of that cheese token. For example, selling this cheese would gain you 2 victory points. And those are the Tier 3 expansions for Tuscany. Now don't forget, there are components included to play the game solo, but I'm going to leave that for you to discover on your own. If you have any questions at all about anything you saw in this video or any of the previous Tuscany videos, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.